Hey everybody, I'm over here with the 240 gallon aquarium right here. It's only 8 feet long, a little bit of a pain, but sometimes we get behind on keeping it clean, keeping it tight, keeping it tidy, but that's just reality sometimes. Sometimes we just get a little bit behind on things. This one has gotten a little out of hand, mainly because I'm getting ready to rescape it, but there is some plants in here that are gonna stay exactly where I want them to stay. That's gonna be the Heterananthera zoysterfolia, however you say that, otherwise known as stargrass. Pretty easy plant. You wanna keep it right around 6 pH, temperature about 74, to 70, not too hot, not too cold, 76, maybe 78, I've spent years growing this plant. It's pretty easy. Some decent laterite, stylish substrate is pretty good for it. Hardness, you don't need to be too worried about, but a little bit of simple fertilizer is going to be kind of the best thing that you could do for it. I use Easy Green from Aquarium Co-op. That's my favorite one now. It's my favorite one now, and people have been asking a lot of questions about Easy Green. It's just a nice, comprehensive, super easy to use fertilizer. It really is, and I use it with Easy Iron, and it's doing a fantastic job. Lighting. You want to keep the lights right around medium to medium high, nothing too crazy. Like too much light on it, you will grow a little bit of hair algae. As you can see, I'm doing that right now on this because it has grown up so tall. It's kind of an interesting plant how it grows, because it'll grow, it'll grow up to a certain point, and then the next stuff will grow kind of on top of that. The next stuff will grow up on top of that. So we need to kind of trim this back down to about the 3-inch high instead of 12 to 15 inches high that it is right now. I've got a few minutes to do it, so let's get going on some trimming. Maybe I'll switch this over to a time lapse or something like that, but we're gonna get it trimmed out, pull out a bunch of extra stuff, probably feed it to the chickens, because people will get mad when I do that. Even though my chickens love it, people are like, oh man, I want free plants. Unfortunately, I don't ship any plants. It's just not something that's in the cards for me to be able to pull off. So I do not promise to ship anything to anybody, or do I ever bring anything to like meetings or anything like that, because I always forget to bag stuff up before I go. It's terrible that way, but it's just kind of the reality of the thing. I do try to give them away whenever I get an opportunity, but I'm just not shipping, and I certainly don't sell them. But if you are looking to buy some plants, check out aquariumcoop.com, and there's probably stuff on there. They ship, they accept payments, all that kind of stuff. So that'd probably be the place to stop. And full disclosure, yeah, they are an affiliate sponsor of this channel. So if you use the affiliate link, I do get a kickback. So buy them somewhere else if you don't like that, I guess, for whatever weird reason. But let's go ahead and get to the aquarium. As always, guys, don't forget your tools. You're gonna need some basic tools. This plant really does require twazzles, is what I commonly refer to them. These are planting tongs, super cheap. I mean, they're about 14 inches long, 12 inches long, whatever. They have this bend at the end here. You really want these ones, not the fully straight ones. And then when you get to, when it comes to trimming, the scissors that I recommend would be these ones right here. They're straight up until the blade right down here. And it makes it much easier to cut things flat at an angle with this little bit of bend down here. These are the ones I would recommend. These are about $4 or $5 too, so pretty cheap to be able to aquascape. These are really the only tools that you really need. There's some good scissors. A lot of the other stuff is kind of superficial. You might not even need scissors. You could probably just use some, some scissors like this. I use these a lot too. Not a big deal. But the planting tongs are really, you're gonna need them for this plant. There is really no way around it for this plant. It's a good thing I got my stepping stool, because I'm just not this tall. So don't be freaked out when you realize that my feet are up here. Got a lot of shrimp in here and stuff, so we definitely are going to have to agitate to let them know something's happening, run away, basically go somewhere else. A lot of shrimp in here. So many shrimp. And a mystery snail. Oh, the mysterious of a snail. So when trimming this, you really do want to separate the layers, basically. So as we kind of go poking around in here with the scissors, you can kind of see how we've got different tiers. Then we just go ahead and start trimming. And hopefully we're not committing a shrimp murder on the way. All right, when it comes to replanting stargrass, you want to trim, you want to pull this little part off with the tongs, the planting tongs, replant them right into the substrate. The scissors are really helpful for trimming down the big bush. But replanting is going to have to look like this. You have to go through kind of one by one and really grab these little tops here. So it's kind of right about the middle of the plant. You see how we come up with a little bit of these sort of gray fine roots like that? That's what we want. And we just replant that right into the substrate. Really not that difficult. Pretty easy to deal with once you've done it a couple of times. So you establish this plant, get it going, let it grow way too long like I did, then you have to go through this. But if you're more on the ball, which I know from experience, that if you're more on the ball with trimming and trimming it back, it is pretty easy to keep it super bright green and nice and low to the ground. But just don't let yourself get too far behind. Otherwise, you end up doing this big giant task that I'm doing right now. On the upside, this isn't even that big of a task because it's really only going to occupy about 20, maybe 30 minutes of time. So this is something that you could pretty easily do, you know, on a weeknight, you know, come home from work, you know, get the dinner done, all that kind of stuff. And then you could come out and hammer this out, you know, wherever your tank is. Maybe it's in your living room, I don't know. But for me, it's come out to the fish room for a half an hour, 20 minutes, something like that. And go through this, get it replanted. And you know, in the next couple of weeks, this will all be grown back in and a distant memory. And then I'll forget to keep trimming this back. And then, you know, 6 months from now, I'll be like, oh man, and then I'll post a video about me doing this again. And then people will be like, man, you let it go for too long again. And I'll be like, yeah, you're right. We should go watch that old video over again, which is this video. How weird is that going to be? How weird is it going to be if we come back and watch this video a year from now and we realize that the same thing that happened before is happening again? Oh. Luckily, as a good example here, it doesn't take much to get this started. So if you did find somebody that had some, you don't need a ton to get going. It'll spread, grows pretty fast, and it's a really cool looking plant, especially once it like fills in. And people are constantly asking me what this plant is, what do I got to do with it. So it's always a good idea to make a video if people keep asking about something. So I think you all get the gist, right? So I'm just going to keep doing this for a while. And then I'm going to go wonder if people have subscribed. Did people hit the like button? Did you hit the join button? All the buttons? All the YouTube buttons? Did you? Did you hit all those buttons? So all these buttons is super important. Buttons. Ladies